Hello, good people, and welcome to Let's Live, Love, and Learn with Khalil Hill. I go by the name of Khalil Judah Hill, and I am excited once again to be able to share a part of myself with all of you. But before we do that, we're going to go through this disclaimer. What I'm about to share with you are my thoughts and my beliefs that I've accumulated over the last 20 to 25 years of my spiritual journey. I will always encourage each of you to use your own discernment when listening to this content. There are going to be things you agree with, and there's going to be a whole lot more that you probably disagree with. And that is 100% okay. I'm just asking that you contemplate those concepts that resonate with you and just leave the rest behind. I'm sharing these life lessons not to get you to adopt them, but to hopefully inspire you to seek and find your own that will enrich your lives. This creative expression of mine, ultimately, I just want to help others feel a little less alone and a little bit more loved as they continue their journey towards the heart of the Creator. Now, quick recap on the last video. We continued our discussion of Jiddu Krishnamurti and his book, Total Freedom, the lessons that I extracted from it. We talked about how when I left Christianity, I studied, many different faiths and beliefs and trains of thought. And what I realized was that, a lot of the information that I came across and that I learned, it made many of the gaps of understanding and confusion that I had when I was within Christianity make a lot more sense. So that got me thinking, hey, is it possible that there's this one holistic, huge truth about the Creator that's been kind of broken up and divided amongst humanity, and that everyone has taken their fragment of that truth and created their own image of God and turned it into whether it's faiths, beliefs, religions, whatever the case may be. And you know what? I believe that was the case. And so what that did is that it encouraged me to continue to seek and find and learn what I could from all the different, philosophies, trains of thoughts, beliefs, and faiths. And it, empowered me to create my path towards the Creator even more. And so it was Krishnamurti's words that there is a truth most holy, not found in temples, mosques, or churches, but through our own understanding of self, which inspired the lesson. Examine every choice and experience to reveal your unique truth and identity. Now, in today's video, we're going to conclude the exploration of Jiddu Krishnamurti and the book Total Freedom and discuss one final life lesson inspired by the book, which is every action we take contributes to our world's creation. Every action that we take contributes to our world's creation. And so I'm going to read an excerpt from Total Freedom to kind of set up today's discussion. So the world problem is our problem because we are the world. What we think does affect the world. What we do does affect society. The individual problem is directly related to the world problem. And I do not think we are giving sufficient importance to the power of individual thinking and action. Historically, I am sure you will find that it is always individuals who produce the great movements that are brought about. So this life lesson isn't just about understanding that each of us is capable of sparking change and transforming the world. It's also about each of us understanding that every waking moment of the day, we are actively participating in the perpetual creation of our environment and the world around us. So we need to take ownership of that. Our world is this way because of our collective actions and inactions. So if we don't like it, what are we going to do about it? There are many things. Well, I'll say this, in the last video, I believe each of us has, well, at least I communicated that each of us has a distinct purpose that supports the evolution of the collective consciousness. There are many of us who uphold convention and conformity in this world. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I believe it plays an important role in our society because it provides stability and cohesion that, holds a group of people, a large group of people together. But then there are others who like to resist, who rebel, and who like to disrupt the status quo and add variety to society. I'm not going to say which one side of the fence I'm on. I may be a little of both, right? I think most of us are a little of both. But I tend to be on that disruptive side of things, to say the least. There are those of you out there who feel like you don't belong, who you don't matter. and that you're too insignificant to bring about change. And I want you to know that those who feel that way, that you're not alone. But I also want you to know that you can be a catalyst of change. You serve as the disruption of normalcy, which is needed. So I want you to question, to challenge, and contend with conformity and convention, because your voice needs to be heard alongside theirs. Your voice needs to be heard too. But I want everyone to be very clear uh, about this. Those who uphold convention and conformity, they are not our enemies. They are not your enemies. You know, no matter how much they may seem to be, they are not your enemies. And so it is through that antagonistic dance that we have with each other, the extremes coming together. Um, I think that's how we find balance. That's where we find growth. And that's where our eventual evolution is achieved. And so once you believe that you can change, now that you know that that's out there, I've said what I've said over the last few minutes, and now, okay, you believe that you can change. You have the ability to do that. That potential is there. So now the question is, what do you want to change, and how can you go about creating that change or manifesting that change? And that's a question that's very important to me. You know, I think about it every single day. And to be honest with you, is one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos. And so I truly believe that our cumulative acts of kindness and connection uh, can have a transformative effect on society and this world. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to share 10 of the behaviors that I normally do every single day. Small acts, nothing huge, just small things that I do every single day that I'm very conscious of, that I truly believe make at least my world and my sphere a little bit better of a place to live. And maybe it can have that cumulative effect and impact, you know, a larger sphere of influence around me as well. So, going to share these with you. Love your thoughts about it. Obviously, not trying to get everybody to do it, just sharing what I do. So here we go. So number one, be kind and patient with others. You never know what somebody else is going through. You really don't. You know, I remember plenty of times I've been at work and people just straight up come in unloading on me because they're unhappy about something that happened with, you know, their product or whatever that they got from us. And I would let them, you know, just vent. I would let them get all that frustration out. And, you know, in the past, I would feel it in like my chest and my shoulder, that I would just be getting defensive and I'm just ready to like put them up and defend myself and go back at them. But you know what? I realized that, you know, a lot of times these people, what happened to that product or whatever is just the straw that broke the camel's back. It was, uh, gosh, it's the least of what's going on in their lives. A lot of times they have issues with their kids, they have issues with their significant other, extended family. So much is going on, even probably with their own health, and that frustration just built up, and they needed to release it. You know, and to be honest with you, by the end of those interactions, you know, when they came to me and they expressed and vented, I just listened to it. And you know what? I understood. I appreciated the fact that they came to me for an opportunity to help them. And I chose to just be a light in their life. And I chose to do whatever I could in order to make their life, their visit, their experience with me and my company a bright spot, you know, in their life for that day, for that moment. And guess what? But I would say probably 8 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10 of those experiences ended up with those individuals truly falling in love with me and us having a great conversation by the time that they left, you know, because underneath it all, you know, we're all just people. And we don't want to be mad. We don't want to be frustrated. We don't want to be annoyed and we don't want to be negative towards others. But a lot of times we just can't help it. And so we can be that light in their life for that moment. We can take on, you know, whatever they want to vent. Uh, and absorb it and then reflect something that's a little bit more positive back towards them. And it could absolutely change, if not their life, their day, that moment. And so, yeah, I choose to be a light in their life. And it's one of the things I think, makes a small impact for the positive in the world. And then the second part of that is that, you know what? I'm not going to give anybody the power in order to change who I am. I want to be positive. I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. And I'm not going to so easily just allow somebody to come at me and change who I want to be. So I'm going to stand firm in that and be the loving, positive person that I want to be. Number two, assume positive intent and give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, this is something that initially I'll say it and you think, it's for somebody else. No, this is for us. I think whenever we're able to assume positive intent and give people the benefit of the doubt, it helps preserve our positive demeanor and our positive outlook. Something can happen to you. And then what we love to do is assign meaning to it and think that, oh, they were just out to get me. They did it because they don't like me. They did it to hurt me. They did it. We just make up these stories about why somebody did something without really knowing why they did it. We're just assuming a lot of times. But guess what? Now that event has happened to you, but guess what else you've done to yourself? Now you got a negative demeanor. Now you have a negative outlook, and now you're in a bad mood. And so you know what? I'm just going to assume positive intent. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And that way I can preserve my positive demeanor and go about my day. Now, if I find out definitively without a shadow of a doubt that they did something malicious to hurt me, then hey, I'll deal with it then. But I'm not going to allow myself to go down that path until I have enough evidence in order to justify being in that type of a mood. Because guess what? I don't want to be there any longer than I have to be. And you know what? I would say also in relationships, if you adopt that, assuming positive intent and giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, you are much more likely to maintain a positive, healthy relationship with your significant other and those that you care about. That's one of the things that the more you can reduce tension and negativity towards others, the better chance your relationship has of surviving and thriving. All right, number three, be authentic and genuine with those you encounter. And so everyone that you meet is an opportunity to connect. The more authentic and genuine you come across to that individual, the more likely they're going to trust you and they're going to lower their defenses. And that enables connection. And honestly, I'll get into it a little bit later, but connection was all about. And so it's a reason why I also believe that in today's society, people are much more ready to gravitate towards people that are coming across more authentic and genuine, whether if you look at social media, YouTube, whatever the case may be, those videos, people who are authentic, who are true to themselves, those are the people that have, tons of likes and tons of fans gravitating towards them, because I think more and more that's what we crave in our society. We want people to be authentic and we want them to be genuine. All right, here's another one. Number four, be positive and limit your negativity. And so people are attracted to people that are positive. They tend to bring energy to a room and energy to those around them. Being negative can suck the life out of everyone around you and the room. And so I choose to be an example and I choose to lift people up around me. Now, that doesn't mean that I am 100% always positive. Oh, it would be great, but I'm not. I think that acknowledging things that happen that are negative, giving it a voice, giving it an expression, humanizes you a little bit. Like you're not some type of, robot that, is filled with sugar and rainbows and things like that. Um, but I choose not to dwell on that negativity. I think that you can acknowledge it, but don't live there. Find a positive way to flip it and to focus on the positive. I think that once again, more people will gravitate you. You'll be able to lead more people and you'll be able to connect with more people and you will uplift others around you whenever you take that approach. All right. Number five, find reasons and ways to share laughter with others. Gosh, laughter lightens the weight of the world and uplifts those around you. Physiologically, it triggers the release of endorphins and dopamine, which reduces stress and anxiety and boosts mood. It enhances oxygen intake, stimulates circulation, and strengthens the immune system as well. More importantly, laughter helps attract others. And it also makes it easier to build connections with others as well, no matter what's going on in my day. And I've got some heavy stuff going on in my life right now, believe me. But I find a way to laugh because that's what life's about. That's what makes life so enjoyable is whenever you can laugh about it. I love to laugh. I love watching comedy shows. I love watching stand-ups. Hey, give me a good laugh. Hey, Dave Chappelle and those guys are absolutely my favorite. And I adore them so much because they make me laugh. Um, so number 6, be humble and always open to learn from everyone. No one likes a know-it-all. Nobody likes a know-it-all at all. It's very tough to relate or connect with somebody who feels like they know everything, that are better than you. It's very tough, right? So be humble and makes you more relatable. It makes you more accessible, and it makes you easier to connect with as well. And so being humble also allows you to be open to learning the lessons from others that others have to give you. You know, a know-it-all, somebody who has too much pride, they're not able to see the opportunities to learn from others. And so having that mindset that, hey, and I always say this, I am no better than anyone else. Nobody belongs on my shoulder or beneath my feet. And I think, having that perspective and having that respect for every single person allows me to be open to learn as much as I can from them as well. Number 7, take time to show appreciation and gratitude towards life and those in your life. It can be a very energizing exercise to take a moment to think about all the positive things going on in your life. It's very easy for one negative thing to overshadow the 5 positives that may have just taken place. Um, but I think we have to be a little bit more conscious and intentional when it comes to saying, you know what, there's a lot more positive in my life than negative. And I have to shift my focus to realize that my life is more so made up of these positive things than these negative ones that I'm allowing to distract me. And so taking that time to show others appreciation can boost mental health by stimulating dopamine and serotonin while reducing anxiety and depression as well. It can lower blood pressure and reduce inflammation in the body. It lowers cortisol and also puts the body more in a state of rest and recovery as well. So showing gratitude, it can strengthen and also build connections with others as well. It makes others more inclined to reciprocate that act as well, which amplifies the positive impacts uh, of showing appreciation, of showing gratitude. Number 8, be open and transparent. Share your world and stories. As you can tell, this is one that I love. Our lives are not only for our benefit. We live our lives and gather experience for others to observe and learn from as well. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, or at least they don't acknowledge that your life is not just for you. Yes, you're here to learn, you're here to grow, you're here to be formed, but others are looking at you and they're learning, they're being formed from what they observe from your life. You can't experience everything. So others experience it for you so you can learn from them. So, I want us all to be transparent. And well, you know what? I choose to be transparent. And I choose to share my world with others because I know that it helps them learn about themselves. And it aids in their journey to find their own unique truth and their own unique identity as they continue this journey towards the creator. Number 9, and this is one of my passions, take care of yourself physically and mentally. Take care of your physical and mental health. Taking care of your physical and mental health allows you to have the energy to show up uh, for your loved ones. So in a way, if you don't take care of yourself, you're being a little selfish because you're negatively impacting your ability to be there for others. This is one of the things that a lot of people, I feel like they kind of discount. I'm a huge proponent when it comes to not just mental health, but also just take care of yourself physically, because guess what? You're not going to be doing too well mentally. And it's very hard to take care of yourself mentally if you're not doing well physically. So that's why I'm almost like a stick in the mud when it comes to what I put in my body, from what I eat, my diet, exercising, make sure I get, enough rest, making sure that I take that time for myself in order to, recuperate and allow my body to repair. Because it's not just for me, right? Obviously, there's benefits that I get from it, but it's so that I can be there for others. I take care of myself because I love others and I want to show up for others. I take care of myself so I can be there for my son. I take care of myself so I can be there and available for my wife. I take care of myself so I can go to work and be the leader that that team deserves me to be. And so, yes, take care of yourself mentally and physically. And then the last one, protect and conserve your energy. One of the reasons I truly believe that the world is kind of slow to get better, to improve, is because we mismanage our energy and we fail to conserve and focus it on the things that will move us forward. It takes energy to show up for others. It takes energy to be kind, to be patient, to be empathetic with others. It takes energy to love, to connect, and to build and transform this world into a better place. And so, if we're wasteful, or if we completely exhaust our energy on things that aren't serving us, then we have only ourselves to blame when we look around and we don't like the world or the environment that we find ourselves in. And, I truly believe that building and strengthening connections is what all of this is about. We become stronger, we feel safer, we feel more loved, and find inspiration and purpose in life through connections. Connections energize us, and honestly, they make life worth living, or at the very least, they make life worth enduring for a lot of people. So I subscribe and I believe that the more we adopt behaviors which connect us and eliminate those that create division, we inch closer to our evolution and transforming this world. All right. So, in closing, here is your question. If you could change anything about this world, what would it be? Um, I want you to think about that. So, that's part A. Part B is, now, with that answer in mind, what actions can you take to help bring about that change in the world? As always, I would love to see your answers in the comments below, as well as I'm sure the community would love to see them as well. And I will leave you with today's quote and the message for my son. We all contribute to the creation of our world. Through seemingly small, cumulative acts of connection, we alter, mend, and fashion the very fabric of our reality. Thanks once again for spending this time with me. As always, I truly, truly, truly enjoy it. Uh, I just love sharing a part of myself with all of you. So until next time, please take care of yourselves and know that you are never alone and you are always loved. Peace out.